I was gonna give bad money.
I did it for you. I'm taking shit.
Good guess, isn't it?
All right. Once again,
No, it was her, it was me. I told you this is a test for technology, right? Hey. Okay. What's the name of the song and what does it mean?
Vivir mi vida, live my life.
All right. Okay, now at the end we're gonna have another test, listening test, and I'm gonna talk about my travels. So at the end, whoever can tell me how many continents that I've touched down on.
Oh,
You did? Yes, so. All right. Hola. 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 Bonjour. Ciao. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. So I'll start off by thanking Pastor McGee for putting this retreat together and asking me to speak. We've been friends for over 30 years, and he was probably the first person that put me on the stage to speak. And he just calls on me like 20 minutes notice, talk about this, talk about that. I'm a little nervous, but I'm kind of used to that now. So this is a safe place, and I'm gonna get my practice on. Come on. So I was thinking about what to say, and I remembered that a child shall lead the way. Okay, can you hear me?
Got to
okay?
get real close to it.
All right.
now go ahead.
All righty, a child shall lead the way. How many of you have heard of the book, Oh, the Places We Will Go?
yeah, that's my favorite book.
Bingo. All right, by who? Who wrote the book?
Dr.
Dr.
Seuss.
Dr. Seuss. So my subtitle to this is, Oh, the Places Adversity Will Take You.
Oh.
All righty. And so when Pastor McGee asked me to talk about my travels, I thought, well, I have to tell the story about how it even happened to begin with. So it's a joyful story. There'll be some ups and some downs, but don't feel bad for me because God are good, as the old lady said.
That's right.
So I'm going to play with presenter mode, okay? I'm learning my AI, my technology. Okay. This is a beautiful story of how adversity turned to joy through travel. You know, the first time I heard about the book, Oh, the Places You Will Go by Dr. Seuss, it wasn't in a classroom or a bookstore. It was at my niece's, Bianca's, law school graduation party. Her younger sister, Brittany, stood there reading it aloud to the attendees. And I remember thinking, what a powerful little book that was. It became my favorite book too. Those words about courage, change, and adventure hit me hard. I love the book so much, I bought several copies to give as graduation gifts. But before I could give them away, my son Christopher took them all. I guess he loved them just as much as I did. And here's the thing. He didn't just read the book. He lived it and he's living it right now.
Amen.
He has lived globally for over 10 years now. He's a TSU graduate. His major was international business. And when he left, he left. So Chris started his journey studying abroad in Hong Kong. Then went on to 2 or more universities in China and 1 in Brazil. He later went on to live in Colombia, Mexico, and now Bangkok. While he was out exploring the world, I was back home in Nashville, facing a completely different kind of journey. Upper management decided it was time to move the seasoned folks aside to make room for a younger crowd. After years of hard work, dedication, and loyalty, I suddenly found myself on the sidelines questioning my value and wondering what was next. I felt like I was standing trial before Pontius Pilate himself, being judged by people who didn't really know my work.
Right.
But that's where my real story of travel began. One day Chris called and said, "Hey Mom, why don't you come visit me in Hong Kong?" Like, what? At first I hesitated. I'd never traveled that far in my life, I whispered to myself. But something inside of me screamed, "Go!" So I did. I got my first passport, I packed my courage, packed my bags, got on that plane to Hong Kong, crossed that line at the airport. We still laugh about that today. I was afraid to cross that line. So we traveled through 3 other cities in China, which was Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou. We did a lot of touring in all these places, and he's a great tour guide. I just depend on him to figure it out when we go. Each one a new world of color, culture, and diversity. Well, that 2-week trip opened my eyes, not just to how big the world was, but how big I could be. When Chris later moved to Brazil, he called again. "Mom, why don't you come visit?" This time I didn't hesitate. I said, "Let's go." The second trip sealed it. The travel bug had bitten me as well. And I remember being in Brazil. We were at Brazil like Christmas Eve, Christmas night, that time of day, that time of season. And he said, "Mama," about 6 o'clock in the morning, "Wake up, wake up, wake up." That's not in the story, but I'm going to tell the story. I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "There's a travel glitch, and we need to book these tickets to Dubai before the president of the company wakes up." I said, "Well, how much are they?" He said, "They're $200. I said, "Yes, let's go." So when I tell you I have been blessed and opportunities have just fallen in my lap, I'm not a rich person, but so many favorable opportunities have fallen in my lap that has allowed me to travel. So I said, "Let's go." The second trip sealed it. Travel bug had bitten me as well. Since then, I've been blessed to visit 12 countries, each one a chapter in a story of rediscovery and renewal. I've explored Mexico several times. I've been to Playa del Carmen, Cancun, Playa Car, walked the streets of Japan, where I met up with Chris in 2017 and 2018. I went over there with a Sarah. She said, "I'm going to see my sister." I was at a party with her, and she said, "I'm going to visit my sister in Japan. She lives there." I said, "Can I go?" I said, "Well, yeah." I met up with Christopher over there. He flew in from China, and we met in Tokyo. So in there, we visited Mount Fuji, the snow-capped mountain. I've also crossed into Canada a few times over the years from Detroit. I've danced to the rhythm of Colombia in Medellin, Cartagena, Santa Marta, El Palenque, Tanga, and Barranquilla, home of Shakira and Sofia Vergara. I'll tell you a little bit about El Palenque if you want to look that up. El Palenque is one of the places that slaves ran to build their own home, their own freedom. This place has about 4,400 residents, African American residents. And we visited there for a day. It was a nice little trip. And one of the things, it was like post-COVID, and I told you how small it was, and I said, "Well, did COVID end up in your community?" He said, "Yes." I don't know how he got in, but there was a musician there that lived there, and he traveled in and out. So that could possibly be how it got into their city. So I soaked in the sun in the Bahamas, Nassau and Freeport, and let the island breezes of Aruba, Curacao remind me how joy can be so simple. In Egypt, I stood in awe before the pyramids of Giza, the Sphinx, and the museums where King Tut was on display. Another trip with the Sarah. Feeling unlinked power of time itself. In the United Arab Emirates, I walked through the Grand Sheikh Zayed Mosque in Abu Dhabi and took the elevator to the top of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, the tallest building in the world. I have visited places that I never in my life imagined I would ever go. And of course, there's home. The United States, from the beaches of Hawaii to the heart of Puerto Rico, to to the many states in between. My most favorite place being Martha's Vineyard. I got to go there twice with my diva girlfriends. Each journey reminded me of something different. Gratitude, resilience, faith, and wonder. I've been blessed to see 6 of the wonders of the world. The Great Wall of China, Chichen Itza in Mexico, the Pyramids of Giza and Sphinx in Egypt, Christ the Redeemer in Brazil, the Teotihuacan Pyramids in Mexico, and the Temple in Abu Dhabi. A wonder of modern grace and design. Every single one of them felt like a mirror, reflecting not just history, but my own journey through adversity. Because every challenge I faced, every moment I thought I was being left behind, was really preparing me to see the world and myself differently. Charles Dickens once wrote, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times." And isn't that the truth?
Yes.
Life is never one or the other, it's both. If I've learned anything, it's this. Adversity doesn't end your story, it launches it. So when life pushes you aside and doors close and people underestimate you, don't see that as a rejection. See that as redirection. Because sometimes being moved out of place is exactly what moves you into your purpose.
Oh.
So all the places you will go aren't just across oceans and mountains. They're inside of you, in your strength, your courage, your faith, and your determination to keep going. So when life calls you to step forward, even when it's hard, say yes. Because adversity won't just change your path, it will expand your world. So by the way, that person who mentioned that he would be managing like Pontius Pilate, well, he died last week. And I wasn't quite sure how I was supposed to process that and feel about that. But someone said, someone who had studied psychology told me that his death represented freedom to move on with my life. And to finish that book that has been on hold and is waiting for me to finish, it's been on hold since 2009. And I'll just tell you the name of the book. It's called God Just Don't Like Ugly. Beautiful Faces of Domestic Violence. So then I realized I had held on to that part of my life long enough. So the takeaway I would like to leave with you from this story is this. If in life you will have ups and downs, but remember the following verses, which is I've shared with you as my favorite verse. Exodus 14:14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only stand still. And then as I've heard Pastor McGee say, the thing that's listed several places in the Bible, and it came to pass. Whew. Yes, God. And I realized that the theme of this retreat is 3 John 2, Beloved, I wish above all things that you may have prospered, and be in health even as your soul prospers. So God has favored me even through adversity.
Yes.
So, by the way, Christopher made me take Spanish classes during COVID to assist in my travels. So that's my story. And is anybody ready to win this last souvenir? How many continents did I hit? Continents. 6. Continents. 6. Continents. 6.
12.
Continents.
12?
4.
How many?
Oh,
4.
America.
Oh.